Hello, my lovelies, and welcome to episode 95 of the Prosperous Yogini podcast. It's part 2 of my 3-part mini series. I've got my watch again, aiming to not talk for too long. So I'm working in this 3-part mini series with 3 of the 7 energy centers of the chakra system that we will often refer to and work with within the practice of yoga. And I want to say not every school of yoga works with the chakra system. Not every yoga teacher, not every yogi actually works or believes in it. And what I want you to sort of like take on board, as I said last week, there are many maps when it comes to the energy of the human body, and I am just open to them all being possible. And the one that works best for you is the one that you can connect to most. So if you're like, Amy, this is just not working for me, I'm sorry. That's okay. That's okay. Like sometimes, as a yoga teacher, we will share information. We will share aspects of the practice that, sometimes I'm open to, not sure where I am with this yet, and not sure what I feel about this yet, but here is an example. Like, I could debate what is and isn't enlightenment probably for way too long. That is normal. But today we are looking at the Anahata Chakra. So in terms of that energy center, those 7 energy centers, last week we worked with that root chakra, and I will encourage you, if you haven't already, to start with last week's episode. And the other thing, before you're like, Amy, this has gone weird, I'm not listening to this 3-part series, before you do that, I just say hang on a minute, because I feel like one of the strengths that I've always had as a teacher is to be really open-minded into this may be possible, but it also may not. It may be something that resonates for you, but it also may not. And all of that being welcome and all of that being okay. And instead of me saying, well, this is the way it is and this is how it should be done, and don't you know, this was what was written in the Hatha Yoga Pradipika and all of that stuff. Oh, Patanjali says, I see it all as guidance. And then what's the truth for me? What is my truth? And I'm going to stand in my truth. And it's what's my truth for now? What can I connect into? What is most, in terms of the information that is everywhere, what is most useful and supportive for me? But I do a pretty good job at making it tangible, making it something that is like relevant to us and where we are in this present time reality. Okay, so last week we did that root chakra, and that like go there first. Go there, ground there, and we feel from the root. And the reason why I've gone to the heart like next is I feel almost as we root down, we rebound up through the spine, and there's like a rebound up from the root chakra to the heart center space. And the heart center for me is this bridge between the upper energy centers and those lower energy centers. It's my favorite one. It's the one I probably, as a teacher, in terms of my classes, work with the most. It's probably the one that I feel most connected to. And for me, it is the powerhouse. But there isn't the thing is, this is the problem with the chakra system, is we see them as 7 individual centers. They are part of the one system, the one network, the one super highway that is yours. So they are not independent of each other. And certainly grounding and connecting and rooting down to that root chakra allows the heart to be supported, because this is a big energy center. The heart is the strongest muscle. And you're like, Amy, the heart is an organ. I'm talking about the energy here in your heart center space. And if you're not watching on YouTube, my hand is like permanently there at the moment. This is the seat of manifestation. This is where, and like, here we go, let's make this really tangible. Have you had one of those moments, wow, and this happens to me so much, where you go, you know what, no, that has got me so much here in my heart center that it doesn't matter what obstacle, what block I find and feel, I will take the action I need to take. that it is so powerful. There is nothing stronger than heart center. There is nothing that can get in the way of the heart center driven action, which is why when, like, for example, people join my mentorship program, we don't go into reviewing the systems and strategies in their business. We go back to here. I get them to connect back to their why. Why are they doing this? What is it they want to create? What is that hollering of your heart? Okay, the hollering of your heart, like, you cannot bypass the hollering of the heart long term. You can ignore it for a bit, but it is such a strong frequency, such a strong resonance, that when I tap into here, when I tap into, look, this is what I am being called to do, this is what I would like to do, yeah, damn, it seems scary, and there may be lots of things, obstacles in the way, or physical obstacles I created, but I root down, and now we see the connection. I root down to the energy chakra that gives me the stability, the strength, the support from the earth, and now my heart center is able to be open, right? And there ain't nothing that's going to stop me. Okay, go back and listen to my COVID story. That was all heart center energy. That was deep within the bowels of my energy center, when I was like, no, I am not losing my business I built off over the last 10 years to this situation, to this external situation. I needed time. I needed 48 hours to ground, just to, you know, and even then it was still a bit flighty energy wise, but driven by the heart to carry on my business, to carry on spreading the light of yoga, to help people through basically what was a really shit time to be a human. So I brought out for this episode one of my favorite yoga books, the Asana Prana Mudra Bandha, but which I use frequently in my training courses. In terms of pranayama practices, understanding what bandhas are, understanding the nadi system, the chakra system. And if you're like, what are you talking about, Amy? If you're a yoga teacher, you'll be like, yes. If you're not a yoga teacher, don't worry. Like, it can be a bit of a foreign language, but I love this book for that. And I love some of the descriptions of the energy centers, and in particular, so I pulled this out. I love the description of the Anahata Chakra, the heart chakra. So the word Anahata, in terms of Sanskrit, literally means unstruck. So the idea here is it's an unstruck sound, waiting for two objects to strike together and create the sound, but the sound already exists. It's an unstruck sound. So the heart center is the seat of our manifestation, and manifestation has like a really bad rep, like when we see, because you do see that, you know, manifestation coaches, people telling you to do certain things certain ways and just relax and all will be well. Now, we manifest all the time, because we create all the time. We are the co-creators. There are external circumstances, there's the impact of the energy above astrologically, the guidance from the stars, there are our relationship with source, universal intelligence. We are co-creating, and then there's some damn crap external circumstances that are beyond our control that we have to navigate. I think the challenge when it comes to manifestation, and we see that word manifestation, and you think of people in some terrible situations in the world, like war zones, you're like, well, they didn't cause that. We collectively cause the energy of that. I actually do believe that, however hard that may be for me to acknowledge my role in collective energy. But when I acknowledge my role in collective energy, I then acknowledge the fact that if I come into love, not fear, if I tap into my heart center space, and that is what I project out into the world, then I can begin to shift the collective. And the more of us that do that, the more of us that will call in, the more collectively we're calling what we want. This is how powerful this heart center space is. So I'm talking to you, about you tapping into this heart center space. Here, your deep desires are there. They exist. They haven't manifested yet, but they exist, right? And then when I tap into here and go, okay, and I strike that sound, I take the action I manifest, I create, but I'm manifesting from my heart center space. I'm manifesting from the hollering of the heart. And these are going to be the most powerful manifestations. These are going to be the ones that I'm meant to be doing. These are the things that are meant for me. And you can tell when someone is in that zone, because they're powerful and you feel attracted to that power. So all sound in the manifested universe is produced by striking together of two objects, which sets up vibration or sound waves. That sound, however, which is issued from beyond this material world, the primordial sound, is the source of all sound. I just love that. And we're talking about sound. You're like, we talk about sound, energy, vibration. Like everything we create, everything that has material form, everything we've created previously existed in the unstruck sound, in the unstruck energy, and we bring that together and it comes together from this heart center space. So in terms of what this means for you and your business, I just think give yourself some time to tap into this. And from a grounded place, we come into that root center, we come and connect to the earth. Let's say, for example, I am going to lie down and I really want to feel into this heart center space. Maybe I do something like a reclining butterfly shape with bolsters, and I'm lifting the heart, those postures that open through the heart center space. Obviously, when I open my heart center space, like there's a vulnerability here, like from a physical level, like there's loads of important organs at the front of the body that when I open into the heart center space, I open into that degree of vulnerability. And energetically, I think the heart center needs real sensitive work, because it's interesting with these chakras. I think like we talk about them being blocked, like, oh, my energy's not flowing. And for me in the heart center, sometimes it can be a bit of an overflow. For example, let's take the emotion, the impact of grief. It felt right down into that heart center space. Someone said to me once that grief is a love with nowhere to go. So it's like a pouring in, it's a traffic jam into the heart, absolute overwhelm, and in that instance I need to come into a more protective shape, just to allow that energy to exist, allow that energy to be, allow that energy to reconfigure. So when working with the heart center, what is right for me, what will bring balance into this energy, and more when I'm thinking about, what is it, this is when I meet contrast. Got a great episode at some point, like why contrast is important. When I meet contrast in my business, and contrast is frustration, I don't want to do this, why is this not working, why am I, God, I'm exhausted, why am I doing all this stuff, whatever a contrast looks like. When you meet that, our natural reaction is to go, okay, this is what I need to do to change this, right? But I would first of all pause and come into this heart center space. Even just sitting and breathing with the hand on the heart. I mean, do this with me now, guys. Bring the hand to the heart and just take a few breaths into this heart center space, and here, and soften the gaze down. Whatever it is that you're seeking the answer, see it as this being the seat of our unconditional love, the seat of our manifestation, the seat of this unstruck sound. And when I connect to that vibration, that energy, and I tap into that hollering of the heart, then I can manifest, I can bring those two objects together to create. It is an almighty muscle. You need to give yourself time and space to come to it, not go, okay, this isn't working, what's my next action? And it doesn't take a lot. And the hollering of your heart is your strongest guidance system. Love over fear, and project that love out into the world. We see a lot like, what does compassion look like? What does not making assumptions look like? It's very powerful when we're scrolling through Instagram and we see someone doing X, Y, and Z. How do we know what's going on in their world and what's happening? Can I come from a place? Can I respond? One of the favorite, done a lot of training with a wonderful teacher, Anahata teacher, which is a very heart-based practice. I'm going to finish on this, her advice today, Bridget Kramer Woods. And one of the teachings that has just never left me is that question, how can I respond from a place of love? Doesn't mean I'm, people please. Doesn't mean I don't set firm boundaries, but how can I respond from a place of love to myself, to my decision makings, to the actions I take in my business, to the people that I work with in my business, the people I interact with in a daily life. All right, my darlings. So coming up, and this is me responding from a place of love, my April masterclass is actually going to be free. Sometimes I pay for access to my masterclasses, and sometimes I feel called to gift them for free. So coming up on Thursday, the 18th of April, is I've done this on purpose because I think at the end of the day, it's quite funny. It's another tongue twister. Magical Marketing Mastery. It's going to be a 60-minute masterclass where we are going to be working with, guess what? The throat center energy. Come back for part 3 of this podcast. The throat center energy, opening up into the throat center energy, because when I open up from the throat center energy, I will find my voice. And when I want to market, wherever I'm marketing to people, whether it be on Instagram, email, face-to-face human discussion, podcast, when I find my true authentic voice, supported from the root chakra, led by the hollering of my heart, the heart chakra, boom, you've got it. It flows. I don't have, what should I put on Instagram today? What shall I say? I feel awkward having that conversation about, hey, this is what I do. This is how I can help you. Do I want it? It doesn't completely go away, but we have a guidance system. So it's free. I'll put the sign up in the show notes here. Like, hand on heart, yes, it is leading into the open cart period of my mentorship program. So the doors to my mentorship program open on the 22nd of April. If you are a yoga teacher, you know how I feel about this. Like, so goddamn passionate for my heart center that I really encourage you to stop doing it alone. Get your name on the wait list. Get ready to make that investment on the 22nd of April. And if you're not a yoga teacher, or just my mentorship program isn't for you, make sure you join my Substack community, Mindset Energy, Mindset, Money and More. I have got more stuff coming, and actually some in-person stuff, which you'll either have to live in Cornwall or come and travel down to Cornwall. A nice place to visit. But there is stuff coming for those of you that aren't yoga teachers, but are loving this energy business combo. All right, my darlings, I will be back with part 3 of this 3-part series, using the chakras in your business.